Hey everybody, welcome to Slay the Brother. It's your favorite brother, Nick, also known as Sylvia Green. Today we're going to go over some more standard decks, and we have Izzet Prowess. So let me move my camera down a little bit. Over here we have the pile, and most of this you're going to have already known for mono red. We did another mono red deck that had the Rakdos card, Calicel Sword, and Burn Together in it, and that's what most people are playing with mono red. We want to see if we can make a better red pile or even just have more fun. So let's get all the new cards first and show you the ones that you're used to seeing in the mono red decks. Into the Floodmaw is the card I'm probably the most excited to see if we can get out there and use. My head, I'm picturing someone playing their turn one Scamp, their turn one Heartfire Hero, and they start beefing it up on turn one, two, three, hoping they're going to sling it to your face. And when you see them building it up high enough, you just throw it back in their hand. We have Shore Up to protect our creatures. One big drawback that Mono Red has is if you have a turn one Swift Spear and they have a swamp open, and you have to worry about that cut down. So you wait to turn two. And then they have two swamps open. And then you're like, well, they might just have a go for the throat. And now me trying to play Monstrous Rage to dodge it doesn't work. It's actually usually the workaround we do. So instead, we're going to be having Shore Up to help us dodge that. It gives +1/+1, gives your creature hexproof, and untaps it down the turn. And then we have Sleight of Hand as a draw spell, which you look at the top two cards of your library. That should be a good enough number. And you put one of them in your hand and the other on back in the bottom of your library. So you kind of just looking at the two, picking which one you like best, put another one to the side, goes to the bottom, not to the top. So it's our closest thing we have to consider. If you ever played Historic, Izzet you cantrips, um, one mana spells let you draw, cycle, those are the best. So on top of that, we have, here we go, Slick Sequence. So this is a new spell that I haven't seen anyone play. Maybe it's in some off-meta decks here and there. It deals 2 damage to any target, and if you cast another spell this turn, you get a draw card. That's going to go really well with things like your Monstrous Rage, your Shock, your Sleight of Hand. So all of a sudden you play Slick Sequence. After you played a Shock, you just spend 3 mana for 4 damage and draw a card. That's a pretty nice divination knockoff. And where you have 3 mana. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, deal 2 damage, draw a card. So now you've got 3 mana for 2 cards and 2 damage. That's a pretty nice divination knockoff also. So really hopeful of that. And then we have Balmor, Battle Mage Captain. His goal is to give everyone else who already has prowess, give them prowess. He's an uncommon, so if you want to play a deck like this, you don't need to go spending rares on the other one that gives everything else prowess. And I think that card was a bit more expensive. I think it's 4 mana for the new order. This is 2 mana. You want everything to be really cheap, and his flying helps give you a little bit of evasion as well as him giving things trample. That's what makes cards like Monstrous Rage so strong is they give the trample as well as given the other buff they give. So in addition to all that, we have the other red cards we're already used to seeing. We have Slick Shot Show Off. He's a bird wizard, flying haste, 2 mana, 1/2. Whenever you cast a spell, he gets +1, +2/+0. So it's kind of prowess with an upgrade. And then you can plot him for 2 mana to exile him from your hand and cast him out later turn, which is good if you're playing against more grindy control matches. You want to drop maybe 2 or 3 of them, and then no matter what spell you cast, like maybe it's just a shock or a lightning bolt, you still do that extra damage because they have to have a lot of removal. We have one Fusion of Codebreaker. He's 2 mana for Goblin Rogue with prowess and haste, and for 6 mana you can disguise him. His 6 mana is his flip cost, but it gets 1 less for every instant and sorcery in your graveyard, which we have a lot of in the deck. Emberheart Challengers, the mouse with haste, 2 mana. Prowess, and then Valiant. Whenever you target him with a spell or ability, you get an exile card and cast a spell on your next turn, which we do have a few things that target him. We have Monstrous Rage, Might of the Meek, and Shore Up. So we hope to get a lot of triggers off that at the right time to get extra cards. We have Shock, which is just classic deal 2 damage. I'm not sure I should probably change this little one. It says what it is when I zoom in on it, but other people might be confused what's to say in Japanese. Monstrous Rage is the instant speed spell, gives them a +1/+1 monster roll token that also gives them trample and get +2/+0 down turn. Monster Swift Spear is 1 mana, 1/2 with haste and prowess. So she is just the best 1-drop and the only 1-drop in this deck we really have. So we're going to rely a lot on getting her if we have to go second and catch up. And then Might of the Meek is another new card we're going to be seeing. 1 mana, instant speed, target creature gets trample, which is good if we don't have a Balmir or if we don't have the Monstrous Rage. And then it also gives +1/+0 if it's a mouse. And then we get to draw a card no matter what. So this card is just perfect with our Emberheart Challenger. So with all that, that was the deck. Appreciate you watching this. Let's go into some games and have some fun. I wonder if maybe I should have made Balmor the new higher flying. Is it one that actually gives you clues to draw? So I got to go first with 2 Swift Spears, a Shock, into the Flood Maw, which I'm hoping I get to use to bounce something, and Balmor. Let's go. Oh, and 1 tap land, 1 untap land. So looks like we're going to go for the... yeah, tap land. Why don't touch things, Nick? Let's do Swift Spear. Actually did want to do the untap land, and I was reading about which one was which, and just slipped right out the mouse. When we go to like antique shops, I'm supposed to keep my hands in my pocket. Okay, another bunny stack. We have just been seeing a lot of these little bunnies. Let's go ahead and play Balmor, because those bunnies give us a lot of oomph we have to push through. And let's pass. Create more bunnies. Wow. 3 mana and get 6 power, 6 toughness. Wow. I should have ran Lightning Strike in this deck. Somebody would have, should have, could have. So we're going to do this with our Slick Show Off. Oh, this is actually neato. This is what we're going to do. We get to attack all. They're going to block. Maybe even be clever and block with a bunch. And we're going to bounce their Valley. Beef everything we got up. Give it all trample. Balmor is coming in, and you know, here's the option. Should I deal more damage or draw a card? That's what I was thinking when I considered him another one. All right, bunnies, can you catch up? Or can you guys not fly? Actually, I need another instant sorcery, or I'm gonna be out of luck. Got it. Never. Didn't. Not have it. So Challenger's a bit more damage. It doesn't matter who I play. I'm overthinking it again. This is red with extra steps. Okay, we just attack. We don't want him sitting there doing the math like I just sat there and didn't doing the math. In fact, I'm not even 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I did the math right. I think we did the math right. I think we mathed right. Oh. Okay, so they go first. We have to mulligan anyways because we only have 1 land, and you can't really have 1 land in this deck. We get a Swift Spear Challenger, so we have 2 creatures. That's great news for us. We have a Might of the Meek to draw, Sleight of Hand to draw, and a Shore Up to protect. So we keep... if we're going to get rid of anything, I guess it's going to be the red card. Because we are actually a little bit choked up on mana. So playing mono red, they get to go first. It'd be nice if we can get our... it'd be nice if we can get our own summon. This is the exact matchup we run them for. We have them just get their guy big and beefy, and then we throw it back in their hand. Hoping a great turn 1. Because they can't quite do anything about it like they could if it was just play with fire. Like, if we had it! Oh my goodness. Okay, we did not top deck. That's quite unfortunate. We also didn't get anything that's going to help us kill that thing yet. So, Sleight of Hand. Looking for a way out of this. We get a Monstrous Rage. Could we try to race them, maybe? That might be our only option. I don't think 100% that's how we win, but drawing a card this turn is not how we win either. So we go big, go home. Is it go first win? We have to go see. Okay, so they throw down their Felonious Rage, and that was all they had. Do they have 2 shots? I just would have shocked when I was attacking. See, unfortunate, we did not get our unsummon. I gotta go first. Oh, you must have heard me. Let's go. Go first. 2 mountains, 2 creatures. It's everything we ever wanted out of all the games. Gotta take my headphones out. Okay. So obviously we do the Painland first as a Sign of Dominance. Now we go Mountain, Swift Spear. Swift Spear. The pause is just consider like how scared I am of them having something that's gonna kill my things. We just wait and see. Okay, so not that... I don't feel like they're going to have that many things that are going to kill my things. We're going to go ahead and play our show-off now. Because if they do decide to kill something, say, next turn... I mean, not next turn, their 3rd turn. I feel pretty safe. Oh, here we go, it's just bunnies. Again, more bunnies. So, we've got the option to... I think we do the slick shot now. We play you. You're essentially an extra 3 damage no matter which of these 2 spells we do. That would be an extra 2 if I just use this to play that, an extra card. So either way, we're playing the slick shot show off. We have 2 now. And I think we just swing and then throw the rage on something. If we need to. We could probably just save the rage or save the shock to get... I think we actually save the shock, because that'd be 4 damage. Draw 2 cards with Slick Sequence. For 3 mana? That's a hell of a divination. Mr. Opponents? You think? You're thinking? He's thinking he's going to let nothing through, so I go ahead and throw this on my Swift Spear. 2 reasons. 1, it's the only one that's going to really need trample, and then 2, the prowess only brings up 1 power. These go up 2 power every time we do a spell, so they're kind of more valuable, especially with the flying. Okay, so he plays Big Boy. This may be when having these 2 Shock and Shock 2.0 come in handy. Alright, he passes with an untapped Plains. I don't know if that's anything I should be worried about. He didn't hold anything when we passed combats. We have no fear, we attack all. I mean, honestly, we shouldn't be too scared anyways. There's not too much you could do. If he destroys this, let's say, and only one of them gets through, I still deal 4 damage to face with these. And part of me was considering actually killing a creature with my burn spells and not just going face. What is wrong with me? I think face is always the place. -9 for the win. Alright. Deck, you're redeemed. I said I was going to delete you. There we go. Let's see if you can beat Mono right now. I don't know why I do this to myself. Okay, so we go first. We've seen this hand before. I can't remember if we lost or won. I think we won. I think it's the only hand we get that we actually really won with. We go Swift Spear and a Challenger. Got Sleight of Hand, Slick Sequence, and Shock. These are all really good together. So we're going to turn 1, go for a Swift Spear. So they have a Heartfire Hero. Perfect. Not really. We want to kill that thing, preferably. So let's do this and try to get max damage. We're going to play Sleight of Hand instead of another creature. We're going to get another creature in our hands. I think we just kill their creature. That's usually how you win against the other mono red decks. Don't let them have nice things. And then swing for 3. I would have considered keeping that on the field if I had the unsummon. That would have been fun. Okay, so he plays his Challenger. We're gonna play our Challenger, and then a Shock. That way, next turn we have 3 mana. We get a Swift Spear down as another 2/3. We get 2 extra damage with that and draw a card. we have changed our plans because we get a Swift Spear, but we drew Might of the Meek, which might even give us a Mountain or another blue spell. Okay, not the best, but we still deal a lot of damage. We were 1 damage less than we would have been before. It's okay, though. I mean, I guess maybe not, because then we could have just played the sequence we just drew. It is what it is. We are being the try-hard using... Why is he playing Cavernous Souls in this deck? That's almost gross. This might be a VM. But we got rid of wood. There we go. And we can actually beat Mono Red. Who'd have thought? We have a tap land, an untapped land, a sleight of hand, a Swift Spear, and then 2 shelves with a Challenger. I kind of want to see where this goes. We're going to play the tap land first. Free damage. It's the same as playing a Swift Spear, just without actually having the Swift Spear on the field. And we can play the Mountain now. They are playing Dimir, so we need to be very aware of their fun kill spells. We're going to go draw and see if we can't get an instant sorcery, maybe something that targets things, like Might of the Meek. Perfect. And we swing for 2. Remember, this decks go fast. No stop. I should even use less words. Less words, save time, see world. Target creature, enter. So, we don't quite want to do Challenger into an effect right now. We definitely want to keep him having a pumps to keep dealing damage to him. We've got the advantage since we went first. That we get to keep pushing. On our turn, not playing fancy shenanigans like trying to plot your show off to catch up. So, he plays Duress. Unfortunate. It means he probably has another spell open this turn. He has a counter? Wow! Counter target red or green spell, 6 or less. And then counter target spell with mana value 2 or less. I wonder how that feels when you're playing black decks. And you're like, man, I wish I could counter their Sheoldred. Man, I wish I could counter that giant bat they had. It can't feel good. So now we're at the stage we want to plot. They got 4 mana untapped. They might do the 2 mana draw spell. I don't see them doing too much to draw. Too much to mess with me. They're not making a token. What even are they doing? 3 mana, look at the top 4. People will play anything these days since we lost Memory Deluge. Pretty much anything to get that itch, draw cards. Counter a spell unless its controller pays for. We are playing against hard control. We have missed our chance to do things. We have very well missed our chance to do anything against these guys. I think the biggest problem in this deck is most of that just has blue. The blue slows down the red too much. So we no get extra card. He is running out of stuff to do. He only has 3 cards left. What are you gonna do, you silly goose? If that's the case, I tap you for red, of course. Oh, why wouldn't I? Yeah, let's get a land out the deck. Let's make it blue, because I have this 1 blue spell. Not sure his angle, unless it's like, let's use mana, because I have mana. Because he doesn't really have, much reason to sacrifice land to trigger an effect or anything. So he's going to counter that spell. That's kind of alright with me. I'm going to go ahead and play you then, my Challenger. I kind of wish I had not let the auto tap do that. I kind of wish I had tapped this island instead. See what I mean? I really wish I had tapped that island to play the generic mana of this Challenger and not just trusted the auto tapper with my fate. 2 damage, 1 card. Okay. Let's not hold it against us. So that's gone. Do we keep going? We just see what we top deck. We see what we top deck, because he's top decking almost. So we see what we top deck. I might say something very controversial right now, but I think that Demir's biggest issue right now is that it's not fast enough to beat like real aggro decks, and it's not good enough to beat real control decks. It just looks for decks like this that are trying to, do that in between thing like tempo, or maybe that aggro deck that went second or didn't get the good cards. All right. Okay, I get to go first. I don't have one drop creature. I've got remove on the play. I've got draw on the play. I've got remove a / drop. I have another one drop on turn 3 I want to play. I guess we're good no matter what. This is untapped. So we go for the untapped dual land, and we're going to go ahead and bet on them not being some kind of super aggro making us regret this. And we're going to do sleight of hand to draw, and then part of me would want to keep the Might of the Meek, because that's the only thing that triggers this challenger. Yeah, but they don't have sleeves, so what if they're mono red? No, we go for Might of the Meek because that actually triggers the challenger. Okay, rewarded. Duress, you dirty dog, you. Oof, I feel a little bit violated. So they're going to take their time, and they're also going to take... Okay. So they took the slick sequence. They thought long and hard, and they decided that my 2-mana half divination wasn't worth it to let me keep. So we're going to play our mountain. We got the 1-drop, unfortunately a turn late, but let's be honest, it probably would have died if we played it that turn. So I'm going to kind of do 2 things. I'm going to bank on that I really want to draw land. Actually, if we want to draw land that bad, I was going to go ahead and just plot this Slick Show off, have him and the challenger open next turn for Might of the Meek. But if I wanted that bad, then I should just go ahead and Might of the Meek on my Swift Spear. Get the land, swing for 2, have a creature, so if he wants, if he has a cut down, we'll be able to tell. Perfect game design, letting you know when your opponent has instants and sorcerers that can target your stuff. He main phases that virtual persistence, so he gains the 2 life. That's fine. We are going to. We can't really give him too much of a break, can we? So should we swing for 5 this turn, or should we plot? I think this is the deck you plot against the most. At least this turn. Ironically, I would have rewarded more. Okay, 5 waited. Because I would just top deck that land. But now we're just going to get rid of our shop. Play this. Let's go ahead and get 2... maybe I save the other challenger. I think the card advantage is more important than the damage advantage at the challenger versus show-off offer. Oh, he didn't have any hold. And yeah, I did hold one on my hand. I don't want all my things to die. Does anyone else ever feel that way? It might not matter. It might not matter. Well, we missed 2 damage, chat. We missed 2 damage. We have to go ahead and just be as aggressive as we can. Hope we top deck a spell that targets one of these guys, the challengers, and that they give us a spell that targets one of these guys, being the other challenger, and that gives us a spell. So he beefs up by 2 every time we get into the sorcerer. He kind of beefs up by 4.
Sacrifices must be made.
3. Okay. So we do this. That does not draw a card. That puts one in my hand. Wow, they got beefy quick. just not enough. Top two cards were both lands. That's just not enough. Do I kill the Liliana and try to get 4 damage and get him down to 12? Again, I just feel like if I can get something to target both of these, I'm cooking with a lot more grease than if I just throw it away to the stupid Shealdred.
Whatever. Luck favors the.
I think that's a sentiment a lot of community has right now. And, they're all dead. This is when it happens. This is when you top deck into top deck into top deck. Well, I mean, that could be a top deck into a top deck, yeah. Top deck. Into a kind of top deck? Okay, do I have any sorceries besides sleight of hand? No, so I feel pretty confident swinging. And seeing if he blocks. I'm not really going to get like enough damage off of the dream happening where I get this challenger to trigger and a card that lets me trigger the other challenger lets me trigger. But he could just not block. I mean, now he has removal. Shoot. No, he doesn't. He didn't do anything. Well, that's cute. This makes us deal some extra damage. Yes, replay Shealdred. This might be turn around for us a little bit. He's down to 7. Okay, so now what can we top deck? Now what can we top deck? I wonder why he sat there and thought so long about that play when all he did was white. It seems like the obvious play. Was he being like, what else can I do? I want to be a little bit more, maybe not greedy, but I want to get more stuff. I guess it's just it's not going to happen. So the end of the Flood Maw was actually nice of the turn because it let us bounce something that we couldn't really kill easily. It's going to be kind of nice this turn. We're going to sleight of hand. Look at the top 2 cards. We're going to get a show off. There we go. We've got 3 damage coming in clutch. Okay. 3 damage coming in. I almost wish this went to the top, to like the... I just wish it wasn't right back to hand, because I know they're going to play it, and we're gonna pray. We need to top deck 2 more damage, ladies and gentlemen, because this has, like, it's not going to look nice for us. Maybe I save the other challenger. I think the card advantage is more important than the damage advantage. I don't know if it's over yet. We swing with that. We swing with just the land. We don't want to lose the shawl. I have seen a lot of lands today. Ironically, I was begging for lands earlier this match. Now I'm just wishing I had a way to sacrifice this. Izzet, why aren't you good? Why aren't you any good at Izzet? I just want one good Izzet deck. Hi everyone, welcome back to the post-game wrap-up and the deck review. A few things we're going to say. First thing is, do not play this deck. As much fun as I may have had, I had just as much aggravation playing this deck. Into the Flood Ball, I was really hopeful that we are going to have a good time with that, get other red decks and throw their creature back to their hand before they could sling into our face. We never got the chance, and even if I did, I don't think it's worth it because it can't even bounce your own creatures. The non-land effect never really came to effect, so we never had to give anyone a fish. We didn't see if it made a big difference, but even if it did or didn't, I don't think it's worth it. I think that a true unsummoned type effect that you can do any creature would have been worth it more. Shore Up was fun. But sleight of hand was a little bit underwhelming because you only get to look at 2 cards, so it's a little bit disappointing when you get 2 lands, and it's sorcery speed, so you can't use that as a battle trick or prowess. The rest of the deck was fine. It's just your classic mono red pile, and honestly, the best advice I can give you about this deck: take out the blue and put red in. That's it. That's gonna be the stack. And if you want to look at the stats, they're right here on the screen. Obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself today. Out of 7 matches, I won 3 matches, lost four, a 43% win rate. Not that we're going to show you guys a lot of bad decks, but even the bad decks, we're going to post them up and show you because we don't want you going ahead and maybe thinking that is it's going to be good to play in the future. Big shout out though to Slick Sequence. The 1 or 2 times I did get it off with something like a Shock in my hand or a Swift Spear, it felt really strong to have 2 damage and draw a card but as much as it's a 2 for 1, it's really not a 2 for 1 if you need another card to trigger it. So with all that said, thanks everyone for coming by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more great content like this. Peace.